Hi, I'm Robert with Rask Guitars. Today we're going to start a build. So we're going to start with the neck. That's the first thing I like to do. I like to get the neck blank built and then put on the shelf and just let it sit around for a while I put the rest of the guitar together. That gives it a chance to dry out slowly and acclimate. If it's going to move, it's going to move while it's drying. I mean, I've pretty much seasoned this wood. This has been sticking around, this board has been sitting around the shop for a couple of years now. So you know, when you cut into it, you're going to release more moisture. So I get the neck blank built and then just let it sit around while we work on the rest of the body and everything. Then when we get back to the neck, you know, we shouldn't have any movement in it at all. We can do some final cutting and shaping, and it should remain pretty flat after that point. So if you look at this board, I'm going to sight you down here. You're going to see there's a little bit of a bow to it. So when you're doing your cutting for your neck blank, I want to take some length off of it because that will eliminate a lot of that bow. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the chop saw. Okay, we're at the chop saw. Go ahead and take a look at where the bend is in this. Sometimes it's really even all the way across. If that's the case, just, you know, wherever you cut it. If you cut it in the middle, it'd take half of your bend out, if that makes sense. This particular piece goes pretty straight and it has more of a bend right here. So I want the straightest piece I can get out of this thing. So I'm going to take 24 inches off from that side. Getting as straight as piece as possible here. And so, safety glasses. Okay. I don't know if you can catch that, but as the board cut through it, it kind of dropped at the end. That took a lot of that bend right out of it. I've got a pretty flat piece left over. Save that because we'll use it for ukulele necks and for the heel blocks and stuff like that. Okay, now let's go to the table saw and get that down to width. Okay, we've got our table saw here. We're going to cut these things to 3 inches wide. So I want to make sure after my cut is finished with the kerf loss, I have 3 inches left, which I'm set up. Again, safety, use glasses, also push stick. Okay. Okay, that'll be my neck blank, and I went ahead and ripped down the other one because I'm going to use that to stack my heel. Okay. Okay, we basically need to mark our neck for our scarf joint. Okay. By the way, scarf joints are actually really strong because you keep the grain going parallel to the plane of the board. So anyway, with this you're going to mark from the end that you want the headstock to be. Okay, this will be my neck, this will be my headstock. We're going to scarf it and then we're going to flip it around and glue it on. But you want to mark 9.5 inches up from this end. So use your ruler and pencil there and mark 9.5 inches right there. Okay, now I've taken my protractor and I have set it to 15 degrees. Actually, on this particular case, I've taken it to 165, so 15 degrees less than 180, and that will give me the angle that I need for my neck. So I'm going to take it right up to that 9.5 inch mark that I had, and I'm going to grab my glasses because I'm getting blind in my old age. Really fun. Okay, so we're going to mark that, get that right to the edge. And by the way, this is giving me a 7-inch headstock. I'll be a little bit longer than that, but my headstock, that my design is 7 inches long. So if you need to adjust this, just keep in mind you need to add to your 24-inch block, right? So there's where I'm going to cut. Now, talk about my jig real quick. Really simple, just a piece of plywood that was square to begin with, and then I took and put that 15-degree angle on there, drew it on, and then drilled it, glued it, and screwed it, and that gives me my neck angle. So I can put this right on here, line it up with the edge, and I can clamp it down here, and I can run it through the bandsaw, which is what we're going to do right now. Okay, I've taken the time to do a good setup on my bandsaw here. I actually put a brand new blade on it, and then made sure everything was super precise. One of the important things was that I used a square to make sure that my blade is perfectly straight up and down. You want it very straight. Okay, can't have that table tilting one way or another. You can see that this jig, once I put my blank in there, just goes right on through, and that's going to give me my scarf joint. Okay, we're going to clamp it to it. Now, I've taken the time to also transpose. We had our line on here, right? And then I carried it over to the front, so I have a basic idea of where we're at and where we need to line it up on my sled. Now, because I'm doing a lot of guitars, I've simply made it to where that fence board is the exact length that I need it to be, so I can literally just push it right up there, throw a clamp on it, open it up a little bit. Okay, flush it there. Actually, I want to pull it in pretty far. Get my clamp up here. Okay, I've got my clamp on there, and for good measure, we'll throw a clamp on this side as well, just to make sure my board is nice and square and flat. Okay, now I'm good to go, and we're ready to cut. Okay, another important thing that I want to point out, remember this part is my head plate, right? And I've got 9.5 inches from this point to the end of the board. Okay, that means I want my cut to be on this side of the line. Okay, I want to make sure that line stays intact, so you want to line that up. I'm trying to do that with my camera so that it's lined up with the blade. You can see that the blade is just to the left of the line, and I'm good with it. As long as I have 9.5 on this side, I'm in good shape. With the measurements I've given, this is for a 25.4 inch neck scale length, and this is going to give me a little bit of wiggle room on both ends. Okay, but I want a nice clean straight cut. Okay, so here we go. Okay, it's not perfectly square as I wanted it to be. It's probably because I didn't square the board, but that's okay because we're going to clean this thing up. I'm going to show you how to do that next. But this is basically your neck blank, and this gets flipped over. So it was cut off like that, and then we're going to just flip it over like this, and there becomes your neck. Now we are going to saw some of this off because you don't need this head plate to be nearly as thick. We're going to take it down to about 1/2 inch. So we'll go ahead and resaw that now, and then we'll show you how to dress these joints.